All right.
There we go.
Cool. Okay. So Pav was just walking us through our utter failure at doing a release with any meaningful features. So let's do a quick retrospective here. We have failed on all the features we wanted to release for this big release. So we're gonna accept that, and then we're just gonna pump out any small API changes and pretend it's a big release.
No, I think we did a lot of bug fixes. I
Yeah.
mean, we didn't get to any big features, but we cleaned up so much stuff.
Yeah, I agree. But we still failed in the eyes of Pav.
Yeah,
No, I
in the eye
expected
of
this
our
because of
users, we need
Freak.
something that's hype worthy.
Yeah, I expected this. This was planned. I knew that this one is going to fail, but
Okay,
yeah,
Cooks, come up with something crazy, which no one will ever know that this doesn't exist, and we'll we'll just talk about it. And
We'll just add a link on the menu to the feature, and
Yeah.
nobody will click it because nobody uses it. Yeah, actually, so I think the biggest feature that I've been working on, which I guess should be able to make it in the next release, is reworking the label system a bit so that we can do some interesting UX improvements later on as well. To the coin selection and to the receive page and to the transaction list, I guess, and maybe, yeah, those mainly, where basically now you can have a label linked directly to an address. So when you generate an address through the receive, you can actually ask the user, who are you sharing this address with? So, if you're generating a receive address and you're going to use that address with an exchange, you can mark it like directly on the receive page. You know, that the way that the label system is supposed to work. Right now, it's just been just throwing it on transactions directly, and it's like we can even optimize it later on so that if an address gets reused, we can even put a label on the coin when you're doing coin selection. It's like address reuse detected or something like that. So we can do a bit more interesting stuff on the UI with with this feature later on. But I'm just putting in the groundwork basically. But again, it doesn't show a lot to the end user. Like there's not a huge difference. And I'm hoping that Nico can actually help me out through it a bit because there's some optimizations I need to do around how I load these things, because we have a Postgres backend option on how to load data, and then we have the fallback method as well, and they work a bit differently, and it's kind of hard to juggle it around. But anyway, I'll try and bug him throughout the week. Maybe he can help me out. There's that. Let me see what else do we have in the pull requests. We have 26 open pull requests. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, there are still very many open.
Okay. So we also have these Blazor pull requests, which kind of starts transitioning the dashboard to using Blazor. But we still have to see if Nico wants to do it or not. From my end, I think I prefer it. I don't think it's a big issue. It's probably better to do this now so that we stop, building features twice, because if we want to rework it, we have to rework the whole dashboard, and it will become, in general, it becomes a lot easier and less painful to build these things because it's all C#, everything is unified, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, Dennis.
I've looked at it. I like it, but I can't judge the technical part of it. I think Nico had some concerns with it potentially eating up a lot of memory or so.
Yeah. I checked out a few things around that, and it was basically like a small server can handle like 5,000 concurrent users at the same time. So I'm like, maybe it's not that big of an issue. It might be an issue if we decided to do the checkout page in Blazor as well. But then in that scenario, we can actually use something like Blazor WebAssembly. and that kind of changes the whole dynamic there as well. We can even potentially change the dashboard into Blazor WebAssembly too, but that's a whole different beast, I think. And
yeah, in general, I like the approach, and I can see why we would want to switch to using Blazor. So if we can convince Nicolas that this isn't a concern, or how we can circumvent it if it doesn't work like intended, then I'm all for it.
all right. What else do we have here?
Can I just jump in quickly on Blazor stuff? So there are 2 PRs. Are both of them doing the same thing, or is it like different because they are titled the same? So should we close at least one, or keep them both?
See.
The 38 is the right one. I think Cooks, you did the 37 1 week earlier, and it doesn't include everything that 38 does.
Let me check. Blazor. So 37 is just a very initial proof of concept, and the other one kind of does a bit more on top, because Nicolas was worried that we might end up fetching a bunch of data multiple times, and this one kind of makes it a bit more optimized. Yeah, I think we should leave 38 open and close 37 maybe. So let me do that. Boom. Nice.
I mean, if something needs like consensus or like opinions, we can probably go through it now.
Okay, we can actually go through one more. I've had this PR moving between different releases now. The make lazy payment on by default pull request. I think we've had consensus on the actual concept for a while now. We just want to see if we should do it or not, because there are some changes to this. Like, it does remove some features, namely on the apps and on the payment request. I think, where we've had some fields where it said the notification email, where it just sends a bunch of data every time something happens around the invoices of a payment request. And people actually complain about this because it's not like it's sending an email to the customer, it's just sending you some random data about an invoice. So that feature actually disappears with this pull request, and apps don't get to have that IPN thing that the BitPay API specifies anymore. This removes it as well. So the question, I guess, from my end is this good enough the way it is, or should we add some equivalent feature in Greenfield, such as creating webhooks specifically for like individual invoices? Do you think that makes any sense? Because that's how the notification IPN stuff works right now. Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah, I don't use it, and I don't know whether or not this will break someone's setup.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, yeah, it's not the best feature, honestly. Like the notification IPN thing. Yeah, okay. I mean, anyway, just something to keep in mind. The code has been ready for a while now, since January actually. So
what would this give us? Is this an performance improvement?
Yeah, so lazy payments is a performance improvement type of thing. So if you have 2 payment methods, it potentially fixes, for example, the gap limit issue on wallets, and it also fixes server load for heavy invoice processing servers. So let's say
it wouldn't generate a new Bitcoin address beforehand whenever the invoice is generated, but only if Bitcoin is selected as a payment method, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it goes vice versa as well for Lightning, obviously.
Why exactly? Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
Why exactly does it break the IPN stuff from the BitPay legacy API?
So what we're doing here is it doesn't break it. It doesn't really remove it either. But from an app, what happens is that every time we generate an invoice right now inside BTCPay, we're kind of using the BitPay request model, which supports notification IPNs and all that stuff. And this PR changes them all to use the Greenfield API creation methods. So the upside is now we can use like the metadata field a bit more and all the fancier features in Greenfield inside where we create invoices. But the downside is we lose the notification IPN from BitPay. Internally, it's most of the code in this PR is kind of switching from BitPay to Greenfield.
So should we deprecate BitPay API altogether? I mean,
no, we can't. We don't do breaking changes in BTCPay, except yeah. It's like we should keep the BitPay API no matter what, but internally we shouldn't be using it because it makes no sense to use that because the Greenfield API is something we can improve on. We add more features to every now and then, and right now, for example, to generate some stuff here and there, we're actually like hacking things around to make it fit. Like sometimes you need to add some metadata internally, and you have to kind of wiggle it in.
I'm always trying to discourage people to actually still use the BitPay API stuff, but sometimes they have their clients from BitPay that they ported over, like in Java or stuff like that, and they hold on to it. So I imagine their implementations would break if they rely on IPN to come in.
They shouldn't actually, because the IPN will still work. If they're using the BitPay API directly with BTCPay, it will work. It's only for so if you create a point of sale app, you've got an option there to put in a notification IPN.
Yeah,
what happen is those options will get removed now.
Okay, that shouldn't hurt.
Yeah, it shouldn't hurt too much, but it could be painful for someone that actually uses it, and we don't know if anyone actually uses it. Most likely not, because it's a weird feature.
So does it only work for apps actually, like point of sale, and what else would it be impacted? Payment button maybe, or no?
Yeah, I think, let me check, the code says it.
Because if it affects payment button, I think a lot of people use payment button with BitPay and notifications, so I definitely then wouldn't do it. And also, if we are redesigning our checkout flow in the 1.8, maybe this one should wait until we figure out what we actually want to do with the checkout flow. Because maybe it wouldn't make sense to the way it is now. Because what we eventually can do is just let people select payment method. Would that again affect, or would it be the same change or not? Like, you see the select the payment method, you first select the payment method, and then it generates whatever payment method it is. So that there is no default, I guess.
I think it's more of a general approach type of thing here. So we'd switch from generating everything that the invoice might potentially have beforehand to only whenever a specific method is selected. So in one way, you could see it like this would fit the approach we are going towards with the new checkout more nicely.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying maybe we should wait with this PR until we figure out what exactly we want to do with the checkout.
We could. It's more about, like, do we want to change a lot of things in one go as well? Because then there's multiple dynamics at play. If you I mean, the checkout is also going to be, we're going to have both checkout pages, I guess, available for a while, so people don't go rage at us.
But since it could be a breaking change for people like the ones that use crowdfunding app and that want to process incoming payments with IPN still, they should get some time ahead to switch to webhook, I guess. So maybe mark those things as deprecated in the UI or in a changelog and give them at least one release time to fix their stuff.
We could do that. I was thinking we could either do that, or we should do that actually, no matter what, and then we can also do. I still feel like maybe maybe if the feature is actually used, then maybe we should offer an alternative as well. Right now you have webhooks, but that's like every invoice on your store will send a webhook. So maybe we need a webhook specifically for either on an invoice level or on an app level. So if you add it on the invoice level, then we can utilize the same feature and basically do the equivalent of what we're doing right now with the IPN thing on apps. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, we don't have any usage statistics on this. Like, we have no clue if people use this feature. It would be better to remove it because people always complain, and it's like, oh, this should be sending my customer an email or something, and it doesn't really do that. But yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, let's just move on. I mean, we can't really decide this just yet, I guess. What else is there? There is some more stuff around custodians from Wooter. I haven't went through it yet. It's another big PR. We have some small bug fixes, maybe. The file service sanitizing thing from Dennis. I don't know if that breaks anything, Dennis.
No, it shouldn't. It just concerns the files that get added via URL or which get downloaded. So this is a new feature we introduced for pod server. So this shouldn't be in use anywhere.
Okay.
And it just gives those files which get downloaded a proper file name.
Okay, so how does this work? Oh, so basically you give it a URL and then it downloads it to locally and then it adds it to the file list, basically.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds fancy enough for me. Fucking merge.
Right now, almost all PRs are failing, and that's due to a recent Lightning lib upgrade, and I just submitted a fix which should take care of that. So I'm going
so it's your fault. Okay.
Yeah,
there we go.
I'm going to rebase a few branches after that.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you as a maintainer now to blame. Okay. I'm going to merge this sanitized file in PR because it's very tiny and I don't think it does any damage. Boom.
That's how we go about things.
Let it be known that we merge stuff for maintainers, like on live stream.
Yeah, we're doing it like the Ethereans.
The merge. Okay, what else is there? I also have some small improvements around LOD 18. You've commented on it before, Pav. Yeah, it's literally, it doesn't really do much. It just adds some. Basically, if you use a wallet like Blixt or Breeze or any of these very conscious Lightning wallets, they usually are able to automatically send data to a Lightning address. So, for example, you can say that you want the email attached to payments to your Lightning address in case you want to contact them or something. This pull request basically lets you do it. It's all automated in the background, so the customer doesn't have to input emails or anything. But yeah, this is just part of the spec apparently. Let me just share it here. Shouldn't be an issue, I guess. We can probably merge it and nobody will even complain about it. It's one of those 2 users kind of niche feature. Initially, I thought it was like kind of like the form builder we wanted to do in BTCPay. That's why I actually built it. But then it turned out that the spec is not a form builder. So, yeah.
What about the form builder? Is it included in one of Wouter's PRs, or?
There is no form builder. There's a form displayer. I started looking into it. I started working on the PR. I built basically you can save and load the form, but we still need to generate like a form generator UI. So basically, where you can add a text box, text fields, and all these things. And then you have to, somehow, and then we can display it to the end user somewhere.
But the display part is done by Wouter already.
Yeah. The display part is done by Wouter already, but it's a very, very basic display system. Like it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that people will probably hound us over, like validation and stuff like that.
Just having the basics is fine, and as long as the structure is solid that we generate, I think we can work towards that from the generating side. And so I think we should have consensus on the structure we want to have, or at least the initial version of it. And once we have that, we're good to go.
Yeah, I agree. We still need some kind of UI to create forms, though. Create the forms ourselves.
Can that be done via plugin? Because I have no clue how that would fit in with the current UI. Like, where would you even add it?
What do you mean?
I think we should make this or add this in core for the store settings and come up with or maybe just use it in or put it into checkout appearance, because this will come in handy for the new checkout as well. Because this way the merchant can configure what type of user data to ask for.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can also attach, like you can create multiple forms, and then one form could be for an app specifically. So I don't know, if you're paying for a ticket, you can put in your email that doesn't look like you're asking for a refund address or something like that. You can put in your email, you can ask for a name, you can ask for an address as well. All the fancy stuff that people have been asking us for a couple of years now.
But aren't those two like distinct things? Like, first one is something very simple where users just want to have order information from their customers so that they can ship the order. And then the second one is a form builder that is like a completely, I guess, modular UI that they can just drag.
That's already there, though. Like it's basically part of the custodian stuff. Like he's already added all this.
But why is this in the same PR? I don't understand. It's like completely different things.
Oh, sorry, it has nothing to do with this PR. It's not the link. Don't worry.
Yeah, I have to review. I don't really like the sound of it. It seems like adding a bunch of stuff in the UI and completely missing the point of what people need. They just want to have address so that they can ship the order. That's what 90% of people want. And then anything like configurable as form builder can be done as a plugin, because it doesn't make sense to me to add this crazy features, whereas honestly, all people need to just be able to populate the invoice data so that they don't need a CMS.
How do you know what the invoice data they need to populate is?
I mean, it's like simply first name, last name, shipping address, option, description, and whatnot. Like these are pretty standard e-commerce forms that like 90% of softwares that do e-commerce use. A simple checkout page. Like they don't want a radio box, are you married, or like that's out of scope. Like they just want to be able to ship the order to people,
That's right. But then again, once we ship this and ship this with a fixed set of fields, people will for sure come up with, oh, I need a zip code field in addition to that, or whatever, and or just give me an extra field for this and so on. So I think making it configurable, if we have everything in place already, would be the better approach, because for sure we would need to rework this.
Yeah, but how would the like UI work for that? Like you have simple checkbox where it says just requests shipping address, versus here is a bunch of fields, drag and drop them and create whatever it is that you want.
We need to keep it simple, I think, from our end.
The latter would surely be something we could do, but that's why I meant we should have the structure in place. And once that's done, we can ship the first version without an editing UI. So we can pre-configure a field set like you just described with everything in place, but we'd have the flexibility to work it towards something more flexible in the future then.
Okay, are we keeping those for 1.8, I guess?
Not trying to troll here, but how about giving the user the possibility to also specify a regex for each field, what they want to accept?
There we go. We did. That's for 1.9.
I'm sure we don't need crazy things like that, because in the end we could also say, well, this is an email field or this is a telephone field, and the browser will take care of everything because the capabilities for that are there. But as I said, I from a technical standpoint, I'd say we should use the form builder structure underneath it, so that we'll have an easier time extending it in the future for requests which are most likely to come.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can do it. We can do it simple, so we don't add like some crazy UI. We just have like exactly like Pav said, request standard information or something from the end user, and it will just create the form in the background with I don't know, some standard fields that we agree on. So name, let's say full name, address 1, address 2, country, right? And that's it. That's the end of the story, right? And then maybe we can do it in 1.8, 1.9 or something that says, okay, here you can have, I don't want to use this standard fields. I want to create my own one. And then we can send them off to someone random. Either we can do it in a plugin maybe, or we can do it in a, I mean, I don't even know if the plugin would be necessary at that point, because the code would still have to live in core forever, since it would be released already. And it's basically just, the plugin would just be a UI to the already existing code. So maybe the UI should be part of the core as well. But anyway, yeah, these are all considerations we have to keep in mind. Like, sure, we can keep it simple, but people will hound us to build it. And then, yeah, we can do it in a plugin. That's not an issue. But then how integrated can the plugin be directly with specific apps, with the invoice page? Like, can we really push everything directly into the plugin to make it the best experience for them? It's a good question. Like, I don't have an answer for that.
Maybe we can just ask people what is it that they really want with this. Maybe we can do a little bit of research. But since this is for 1.8, let's just put it aside and tinker a little bit more about it. And then yeah, it seems that all of us have a bunch of catching up to do. So very hard to make a productive decision on this call today. But let's put it aside. I think. Are there any more burning issues that we would like for 1.7? Like, are there any bug fixes that need immediate review and attention so that we can merge them in the next week and a half, so that we can finally get 1.7 out of the way and start like seriously getting back into the serious mode, and then fixing and adding new features, I guess.
I don't think there's any real bugs that need to be pushed. Maybe we can add some more APIs, API pull requests that are around. So I have one for basically adding like store rates to the Greenfield API. Umar has some more around, I think, crowdfund the app or something like that to be able to create it. But nothing major. I think we can push a few more features in there, like small stuff, and just call it 1.7. But otherwise, there's nothing crazy in there to add. Do you have anything, Dennis? Apart, I mean, you basically have the L&D hub integration now.
Yeah,
that could be something.
So I mean, if in general, I think we're good to go because there's a lot of fixes and also exciting stuff in there. If we want to have something shiny to announce with 1.7, I think we should give it maybe one more week, and I could get to working on the POS stuff, and because that would be something, that would be announcement worthy, I think. But
I don't think if we I don't think we need like announcement for 1.7. We can just tweet it out. It doesn't need to be like, because I really don't want to build excitement around like non-exciting things. That's, if this is like a bug fixing release, maintenance release, we should just release it as that. Like writing a blog post for 2 features will be
I agree. I mean, we could just overall just say, okay, screw it. Let's keep releasing under 1.6. Let's keep releasing under 1.6. You know, just building on top of the minor patches, and spend another milestone level amount of time and actually do a real 1.7 release. I mean, there's no there's no expectation for us to push a 1.7 release. Like if there's nothing to release, then there's nothing to release, right? Fuck it. So
there's tons of stuff to release. So for example, I'm really looking forward to push pod server and the next LM Bank version, because people don't stop nagging me about it, and I think they are really excited about this Blue Wallet stuff coming in LN Bank.
Okay. So I'm just wait, but these are separate from BTCPay 1.7 release, right? I mean,
yes,
once
I need one more BTCPay release.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying we'll do 1.6, 0.11, 0.12, 0.13, 0.14. We keep going this way until we actually have some beefy features.
Like, according to our SAM versioning already?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if you're not doing a major milestone here, we don't have any breaking changes, I think, so it's okay. I think we can keep going this way. Up to you guys. I mean, from my end, I don't have any problem doing this.
There's no massive UI changes either anywhere, right?
No,
so
not yet, at least. So we can say for 1.7, when we release that, we can actually say, okay, we're changing the checkout, or adding a new checkout.
Then let's just stay with a minor more, I would say. Just do 1 or 2 more minor releases, and then make the next one.
That would be the most honest approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I agree. People would expect major things in 1.7, so we will probably, this would be better. So let's go with that, and then...
Yeah, we'll keep fixing up, then basically we'll just keep doing... if there's any more bug fixes, we'll do those, like if they really need them. I would even say that any minor bug fixes we keep for 1.7, like if it's not that important. If something breaks, like when the Kraken thing broke, sure, we'll cherry pick that release and do a release for that. Let's see what else is there. I mean, I'm up for doing this. I don't know if Nico is in his cave coding again. He was asking about the new plugin architecture stuff a bit. I told him go crazy, so I don't know if he's going crazy or if he's...
He said something about music too, or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, but that's him. That's his alter ego going crazy. Don't worry, that's the end Bitcoin Nico. We're talking about the BTCPay Nico.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as he does Lightning releases, we're fine.
That's also another thing we should probably work on. Maybe I'll do it next week. Right now, we have a bottleneck with Nico. So if Nico dies, we can't release any new features on Lightning for BTCPay server.
LM Bank will also die then.
So next week, I'm going to work on redoing our BTCPay server Lightning package system, so that we can actually do releases without Nico being around, in case he's in a cave or something.
Or he goes broke, paying for expensive flights.
Yeah. Or he supports the merge fully now.
1.7 that we don't have to rely on his death for that.
It would end up in a bad situation, because then we end up having to publish BTCPay server Lightning 2 or something, or something weird with the naming, because if Nico dies, the NuGet package dies with him.
I have a quick question. What about the PRs for the BTCPay Docker repository? Are they coming in without any correlation to releases, or are we to release them when something major is happening?
Yeah. We don't. The BTCPay Server Docker is not correlated with the BTCPay Server releases. If there's something juicy and we can save the details for a big BTCPay release, we usually do it. But for the most
Seems like I'm late.
Yes, you are. We were just bitching about if you died, the BTCPay Server.Lightning NuGet would die with you right now.
Oh shit! I thought you had the right about it actually.
No.
Oh yeah, I think I will just give it to you.
Nice, awesome.
Or Dennis.
All right, so I'll be the next guy to be wrench attacked, and the BTCPay Server.Lightning NuGet dies with me. Actually, I was talking with Dennis as well, and I was saying that maybe I'll rework how we release the BTCPay Server.Lightning packages, so that it basically it gets automated on GitHub, where basically if you edit the package version for a CS project inside the BTCPay Server.Lightning, some CI tool recognizes that, builds the NuGet package, publishes to NuGet.org and also to GitHub packages, and also does a git tag, and then we're automated.
Sorry, if it detect what, a new project?
No, it detects the package version inside the CS proj.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you want to build the package inside CY rather than locally? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I already do it for the LNURL package and the BIPs, the PageJoin one as well. So.
Okay, make total sense.
Yeah, it works pretty well. And then we can also start publishing to failover servers too, so we don't have to rely on NuGet. Like if NuGet starts nuking stuff, we can also have.
And you auto tag as well?
Yeah, exactly. I do a git tag.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do a pull request, and then you can see it. Going back to the question, BTCPay Server Docker is not correlated to BTCPay releases. So if there are stuff inside there and we haven't merged any of them, let us know and we'll look into it. There's nothing major though. Is there any specific pull request in BTCPay Server Docker that you wanted merged?
I was just curious how long the mempool explorer stuff was going to take, because it's really a nice feature to have.
That's just poor timing from me. I got bored working on it. I got very close, and then I got bored, and yeah.
I recently updated it. Nevertheless, I think we'll have also a bit of trouble getting it to work because the front end once again requires the app to run in the root, and we have this common problem yet again.
We can. This sucks again.
I tried all the hacks with rewriting stuff with.
Yeah, you've tried the one where it rewrites the HTML to inside the Nginx. Yeah, okay. Fuck, I hate that stuff. Like it's so hard to you have to modify the project to actually make these things work.
Exactly.
Did you talk with Simon or Wiz?
I mentioned him, but he didn't answer. And well, there are multiple ways to fix it. For Gem, I fixed it inside the app, so it doesn't need a workaround on their side. For Lit, they are publishing a separate Docker image for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. That's crazy. I mean, even the helipad stuff, I tried rewriting so many things in there. Like I was basically rewriting the entire HTML inside the fucking reverse proxy. It still doesn't work because they keep breaking it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's we have a block of mempool space then.
One thing, well, I don't know if we might explore this, but I think that now Let's Encrypt provide multi-domain certificates, which would allow us to kind of create. Well, it actually doesn't really help us. I'll forget what I said. I thought that it will avoid having a root pass but like you would still need to configure the DNS and shit like this, so it's pain in the ass.
Yeah. Nico, I tried asking you, but maybe I'll ask you here so I can publicly shame you if you don't help me. I have my pull request where I keep trying to where I'm redoing the labeling system. Do you have time? I probably need your help with fixing it up because I have some limitations I'm running into.
Okay, I would have time to look at it. Like I was busy re-implementing Musig of the new BIP, but I'm over with it. So next thing I can look at it.
All right. Yeah, sure. It's basically some tricky stuff around NB Explorer and how I can label scripts and detect the scripts and stuff like that. Because in the transaction list right now, so in BTCPay, in the pull request that I did was we have a table now for labels, and then we have a table for transactions, and then we have a table for scripts. And the scripts in the transactions table link to the labels table. So now, when you load transactions inside the transaction list in BTCPay, I can show the labels for the transactions, but to load the labels for the scripts, I have to load the ins and outs of every transaction somehow. So that needs to come from NB Explorer somehow in an efficient way. Yeah, exactly. I have some ideas. You have the matched ins and outs.
Database, so we cannot really make join between them.
Yeah, exactly. Unless we do a view inside BTCPay that links to an external database. Can you do that?
Yes, it's possible, but it's really pain in the ass.
Okay, let's avoid the pains in the asses. So maybe we can somehow load the ins and outs, ins and outs.
Maybe we can. Let me think about it. So yeah, Postgres has this thing that they call remote adapter or something like this, or remote adapter. Basically, they allow you to expose a remote database as if the table was local.
Okay.
And so it might be possible, but I don't have really in mind the issue we might have. For example, what if the user doesn't have NB Explorer in Postgre or shit like this?
Yeah. So it's not that bad. Not that bad because we have a fallback method for the transaction list inside BTCPay, right? So right now you have a query in there, like a raw SQL query that hits the transaction list inside NBX, and if it doesn't have Postgres there, it switches over to using the NBX client library, and then that basically fetches the whole transactions for the entire list. So.
Okay. Yeah, I take a look at you, Pierre.
Yeah, look at it and let me know how to fix it a bit better, because right now I have this issue where there's information asymmetry. Like if you're on the send wallet page and you load the coin selection, the UTXOs have all the labels on them. But if you load the transaction list not on the wallet send page, you only get some of the labels, which are only on transactions. And if I'm starting to add labels on the wallet receive page, then that kind of goes against it and you won't be able to see it on the transaction list.
Okay, I check.
Yeah, just try and run it and see what you think so far.
Okay.
All right. Anything else we should talk about? Let's see.
Yeah, let's just get Emperor on board with 1.6.9 versioning. So 11. Nico, yeah, we won't be doing 1.7 release because we don't have any notable changes, breaking changes, or features. So we'll just keep on building on 1.6.9 point whatever.
There is a small fix we did with Denis, about the transaction list that I think might be nice to get a release for this, because it means that without it, people might miss transactions, say, oh, I don't see this transaction in my wallet when the transaction actually exists.
Yeah.
So
the idea
yeah.
is to keep building these bug fixes releases until we actually build some big features
Yeah.
that we can include in 1.7.
Yeah,
Are you
we'll just
okay
keep going with 1.6, 0.11, 0.12, until we actually have some juicy features to, make people simp
Path
over.
is satisfied.
Huh?
Until Path is satisfied with
Yeah.
us.
I am satisfied. I just expected this. Like nobody
He
expected
expected
us
better
to.
of us. He expected the nice juicy features.
Now we have the problem is that now we have the plugin system. Like all the developers are busy making their plugin rather than coding on BTCPay core.
This is very true.
It works too well.
Actually, I was trying. Maybe we should do this out of band, not on this call. But I was trying to implement a plugin based on your concept, where the plugin references BTCPay Server instead of the abstractions layer. But it's very hard to build it without being able to test fast. So I tried to I created a CS project with the same plugin system and everything. Instead of referencing abstractions, I referenced BTCPay Server. Then I grabbed the directory of the project and I symlinked it directly inside BTCPay Server under plugins in the plugins folder inside BTCPay Server, and then I was basically trying to run the plugin as if it was actual code inside BTCPay Server, but
I think I have some trick like to do with MS Build to make that easier. The way I'm trying to I did a exploration a bit about the plugin system as well, and the way I was thinking about doing it is the approach of Footer, like every plugin have their own repository, so we can follow, change, tag stuff and stuff like this. And every plugin repository also have BTCPay Server as a submodule. And the reason for doing this is because it's a way for the plugin to specify to the builder with which version of BTCPay you need to build the plugin against. Else, we need some kind of manifest file or shit like this. But as a submodule, it's like making things everything simple basically. And but I didn't check yet how easy it is to debug with this approach. I think it's easy by doing a bit of MS Build magic. But I need to test it.
Are you attaching the debugger somehow, or I guess?
No. I'm thinking just so there will be the plugin repository, and you will still develop on the normal on a separate. So outside this repository, you will work on the BTCPay server repository directly, and then in MS Build you can say, okay, I want that the plugin folder in my solution folder structure is actually to another place. It's like a symlink actually, but it's directly inside MS Build, so you don't have to create a real symlink.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I was just trying to find a way to get the best of both worlds, because I was trying to build a payout processor and I realized that the interface was still inside BTCPay, not abstraction. So I'm like, let me try.
I think even doing symlink is not that bad actually. It's just one command line. So.
It's a bit tricky because you need to do two things, right? You need to have the symlink in there so that you can build it as if it was BTCPay Server directly. And then you also need the separate project so that you're able to package the plugin independently as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I would check this, but I think that it's not too bad. But I need really to test it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll look into it. Yeah. Okay. So let's sync up again. Maybe tomorrow or something, and we'll start looking through some of the stuff I have issues with. Dennis, I guess you're okay so far with the Lightning library, right? Have you tested the keysense stuff? Should I merge that in now?
No, I'll get to it after the call. I just added the Lightning lib upgrade in BTCPay core, and it works. The failing test is unrelated, so we should get this merged and rebase the pull request that fails so that those tests also work.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Do you guys have anything else, Andreas? Maybe do you have any specific requests for your APIs? Any blockers from your end, at least?
Not really. I have no blockers, so I'm almost finished now with the OpenCard stuff.
Awesome. Okay.
I still need to go test everything so that I have all edge cases, but I think it's working. And then I need to do the documentation, but I think I'm always done with that. And after that, I will go with WooCommerce again and do the refunding stuff.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
In between, I also made some WooCommerce releases with new features and some things that came up in the chat. So yeah.
Okay. How would the refunding thing in WooCommerce work? Is there like an official way of how to handle refunds inside WooCommerce?
Not really. They have a function you need to call, and so yeah, you can do whatever you like. So we can show a refund link where we can do a full payment or something, or yeah, whatever we like. So
we can maybe link. We can keep it simple and just link towards the invoice details page inside BTCPay, or maybe we can do a deep link directly to open the refund modal in the invoice details page. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I will try if that works. But I thought more about doing everything with Greenfield, so yeah.
I mean, sure, you could do that.
The fastest way would be to display the page.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I need some information back anyway so that I know it succeeded or something was finished. So I will see how that works. Yeah, and I don't think we have any. So we only have the invoice webhooks, and I would not know if it worked. Maybe I could do some polling or something like that to check. But yeah, I need to look into it.
A polling, you mean for refund status?
Yeah, if it worked or something, because I need to know the status in the order page of WooCommerce.
Okay. Yeah, we have to look into. We have to. I don't know if we have time for 1.7 as well for this, but we need to get webhooks in there for just not just for invoices. We need them for payouts and payment requests and all this stuff. If we have those in, people will complain much less about losing the notification IPN for lazy payment stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We need to hire people. Pav, you want to start coding?
No, but I want to suggest something. I think that WooCommerce actually does have an interface for a refund where you can just input the amount and it would call. Maybe PayPal has it actually, so maybe from their own UI you can just.
But you need to connect it with BTCPay. And
Yeah.
if I reuse the BTCPay page, then I need some way to know, okay, it worked or it did not work or something. So yeah, I'm not sure how yet, but I will figure it out.
Okay, I mean, we're flexible a bit as well on this because it would be ideal if we could reuse the same refund flow inside BTCPay, because then we can, optimize it even more so that we can reuse it everywhere instead of re-implementing the refunds
But
everywhere.
we aren't even sure that our refund flow works as it should, because it still needs a little bit of ironing out.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'd rather we iron it out and then use it than re-implementing it somewhere else. And now we have two different refund flows, and one of them works and one of them doesn't. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I was nagged last week about the WHM, I don't know, it's in English, WHMCS plugin. We have one for the old BitPay API, but not for Greenfield yet. And I think the old one that we have is broken.
Yeah, people complain about that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I still have a developer license for that piece of shit that they call software. So maybe we can set something up to get this rolling as well.
Sounds good, because I know some people actually worked on it at some point and they created a fork of it and then it was working, and then people modified that fork and created a different fork and it was working and not working, and then people were like, oh, it works great, awesome. And I'm like, can you share their code with it? And they disappear, and I'm like, okay.
Oh shit.
It's like, okay, if you Google it, you might find a working version of it with BTCPay, but yeah. Yeah, maybe that could be the next thing in line. Is it PHP or?
Yeah.
All right, Andreas, get to work. Yeah, okay. I think that's it from my end. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to discuss.
I have a few things which aren't dev related, but are like operational stuff. So I would like to close with that unless somebody else wants to.
Later, guys. For too long, we've relied on trusted third parties to process digital payments. The world is changing, and so are your customers. As cash payments decrease, digital payments become the standard. But existing apps charge transaction fees and lack privacy. BTCPay is a Bitcoin payment platform. It gives control over your business back to you, helping people achieve financial freedom with donations, payments, and more. Help your family and onboard your friends. Use BTCPay to host multiple stores and become a payment platform of your own. While the world changes around you, stay in control of your finances. It's simple to use, censorship resistant, and completely free. This is more than a payment platform. It's transforming digital payments as fast as the world around us.